I'm Heyzeus, and this video is going to be looking at the best-selling skins in the history of CSGO, and if you're wondering why there's a Pokemon in the background, don't worry, it's just foreshadowing. Anyway, you might expect this to be a list video, like a top 10 video, but I'm not actually going to do that, and for two reasons. Firstly, doing a list would seem way too much like I'm copying McSkillet style, and I would never do that, it's simply ridiculous. Secondly, as we're going to see, a top 10 list might be a little bit redundant because there's two skins, both from one particular case, that are a mile above every other skin, and we're going to be focusing in on those and just how ridiculous the amounts of money that the community has been spending on them is. As for how I'm going to measure what the best selling skin is, the number I'm going to use is the total amount spent on the skin on the community market, so the total numbers sold times by the average price of the item sold. Unfortunately, we don't really have information for third-party sites, but there's not much that can be done about that. All the information is from a really awesome site called CSGO that gives us this stuff, and as I go through the many millions of dollars of skins that have been bought and sold on the community market, I just want everyone to keep in mind that 12% of all the numbers I show went directly into Valve's pocket. Just keep that in mind. But anyway, it's time for me to talk about what the best selling skins of all time actually are, and if you guessed that they were from the Phoenix case, congratulations, you have guessed correctly. And that brings me to the best selling skin on the Steam market of all time, the field tested AK-47 Redline. Players have spent $27 million on over 4 million different purchases of this skin on the Steam market on its own, not counting OP skins, not counting trading sites, not counting anything like that, just on the Steam market. And I don't think that spending is going to stop anytime soon. It's still the most popular classified skin by a mile. And what's even more crazy is that even though it's a head and shoulders above every single other classified skin here, this is only a fraction of what the field tested AK Redline used to sell. Go back to 2015 and that volume was sitting at 5,000 units per day. Next up, in a close second place, is the field tested AWP Asiimov with $23 million worth of skins bought on the Steam market with 500,000 different purchases. Now, on one hand, this makes sense. The AWP Asiimov doesn't really dominate the covert bestsellers list like Redlines do with the classified skins. They're outsold by a couple of others. But there is another way of breaking things down that makes Asiimovs rather than Redlines the best selling skin of all time. You see, at the moment, we're only focusing on a single condition, the most sold condition of each of these respective skins, but it's still only a single condition, and if we consider the rest of the conditions for the Redline, we get about $7 million more worth of sales, so we're up to about $34 million altogether. If we look at the Asiimov on the other hand though, well, we get $16 million worth of sales just from battle-scarred skins alone, and another $8 million from the well-worn skins, which brings us within spitting distance of $50 million worth of AWP Asiimov being sold on the Steam market. So, depending on which way you look at it, either the AK Redline or the AWP Asiimov are the best selling skins in all of Counter-Strike. And regardless of which position you take, the one thing we can be certain about is that all this buying and selling resulted in Valve making $10 million from Steam tax from these two skins alone. But ignoring the fat stacks that Gaben is making off us, it's time I actually demonstrated just how ridiculously popular these skins have been compared to others. Let's cut back just to the field tested skins again for a moment, just to keep things a bit more simple. So let's consider another classic covert skin, the AK Vulcan, obviously looking pretty snazzy with a couple of Na'Vi hollows on it. Just like the AWP Asiimov, it's been around for quite a long time, it's always been popular the entire time it's been around. Yet the field tested Vulcan has only sold around $12 million worth of skins. And by the way, if you add up all the sales for all the different floats of the Vulcan, it comes to about 28 million, so it's still 20 million less than all the different floats for the AWP Asiimov combined. And the Vulcan itself really does kind of stand out on its own. There aren't any other covert skins that really even come close. For instance, the M4A1S Hyper Beast has only sold about $8 million worth of skins in the field tested condition. The M4A1S Cyrex has also only sold about $8 million worth of skins in the field tested condition. The AWP Hyper Beast has only sold around $6 million worth of skins in the field tested condition. If we look at the M4A4 Asiimov, it's only sold around $8 million worth of skins in the field tested condition. So there's nothing here that really even comes close to the AWP Asiimov. And if we cut to the Redline, the picture's even more stark. One of its closest competitors, ironically, is its sister skin, the AWP Redline, which has sold $8 million in the field test condition and also $8 million in the minimal wear condition as well, so 16 million all up. After that, we've got the frontside Misty. It's sold around $9 million worth of skins in its field tested condition. The AWP Boom minimal wear also puts up another decent performance, $8 million worth of skins sold. Obviously another iconic skin. It's been around since very early in the game, but still can't quite compete with the AK Redline. But from this point onwards, the picture gets pretty bleak. The Desolate Space, for example, only manages around $6 million worth of skins in the minimal wear and field tested conditions combined, while the Decimator and the Fever Dream both bring in around $4 million split between the different varieties. Even something like the M4A1S Knight doesn't even come close. I mean, the M4A1S Knight sells for $250, so it's miles more expensive than anything else here, but it's only sold about $3.5 million worth of skins. I mean, there's just nothing here that comes close to comparing. And by the way, to anyone who's wondering, none of these are stat track. The total amount of stat track stuff sold is always a fraction of the total amount of non-stat track stuff sold. But anyway, at this point, the question sort of comes out, why are these skins doing so well? And it's an interesting combination of factors. On some level, it is because they look good. The Redline and the Asiimov are both good looking skins. They're not too over the top, they're classy. Most people find them good looking, but it's more than that as well. So let's just quickly rearrange things a little bit. What I think happened effectively is kind of a snowball effect. First of all, let's look at the cases that were available before the Phoenix case, which the Redline and the Asiimov are both in, was released. So we can get rid of these three cases immediately, they're all garbage, and if we look at the AKs and AWPs that are left, as you can see, there isn't a brilliant variety of skins available. If we look at the AKs, for example, the Fire Serpent is super expensive, and sure, the Red Laminate and Case Hardens aren't bad skins per se, but they're not likely to have the same popular appeal as the AK Redline. And if we look at the AWPs, once again, they aren't terrible. The Graphite is kind of classy, the Boom is kind of cool, but neither of them really quite match up to the Asiimov. And sure, there is the AWP Redline, but it's got the opposite colour pattern to the Asiimov effectively. It's black, the Asiimov is white, and considering how huge the market for AWPs is, this left the Asiimov with a lot of space to fill and no real competitor. On top of that, if you look at when the Phoenix case was released, you can see that it was released shortly before Katowice 2014, which is obviously when Valve introduced the first team stickers, the famous Kato 2014s. Now, in my opinion at least, team stickers look best on a skin with a simple dark background, but also a skin that's ideally not too cheap or too low grade, so it feels like it has some value to it. You know, a skin like this. So that's convenient timing for the AK Redline, a hot new skin perfect for stickers, and this no doubt helped encourage a lot of people to buy it, to test out these brand new stickers, and I doubt it's a coincidence that CS Money is stuffed full of these guns covered in stickers. The Asiimov, on the other hand, was probably helped by the fact that there wouldn't really be any great AWP skins competing with it until the Falchion case was released over a year later. If we look at the cases released in the meantime, the Huntsman case, the Breakout case, the Chroma cases, there weren't really any good covert AWPs, and this left the Asiimov basically unchallenged until the AWP Hyper Beast came along in the Falchion case. And finally, there was that snowball element of this whole situation. The fact that these skins were so common in game meant that people that didn't own them were constantly exposed to them, and this obviously meant that when they went to buy their own skins, shit, what was that AWP I saw in game again? Oh yeah, the AWP Asiimov, that one's pretty cool, I'll buy that, and I'll get that AK I've been seeing a lot of, the Redline. Because of all these factors working together, these skins basically ended up on the podium, and once they got there, they couldn't be taken off. So much so that they were actually being used as currency alongside keys at one point. So it's little wonder that they've been cemented as really the best selling skins of all time by a mile. They're the right skins in the right place at the right time. And why should you care? Well, the reason you should care is not only are these skins popular, but they're also going up in price. Field tested AK Redlines were once barely $4, now they're nearly $8. Field tested AWP Asiimovs were once less than $30, and now they're nearly $40. And I don't think this trend is going to stop. So if you're looking for some nice play skins that are going to go up in value while you hold them, well, now you know where to look. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your gut. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.